Hello, everybody, and welcome into another episode of Prospect Corner here at the Hockey Writers. I'm your host, Matthew Zator, and as always, joined by Peter Baracchini and Dayton Reimer. As we get closer and closer to the draft, we're only a few days out of it now. We just had our first round mock, which has changed because the Senators, of course, traded the 9th overall pick, and it was expected. We were kind of expecting that. We were just hoping that it would happen a little later. And the video did come out, and people were had some fun, even though the Senators, of course, like Dayton mentioned, right when he picked, he's like, "This is probably gonna get traded." Exactly what happened. So I want to talk about that actually, just to start the episode before we get into what we're going to be doing today. Peter, what'd you think about that trade? I mean, the Sharks getting, trading William Eklund to the Ottawa Senators, Kasper Halttunen also in that deal for the 9th overall pick. Now the Sharks have the 2nd overall pick and the 9th pick. It's, they're going to have some pretty, it's going to change the top of the draft, really. So what change do you think what impact will this have?
Well, first of all, Mike Greer's cooking big time. Yeah, I mean, that was an absolute bombshell of a trade that just came out of nowhere. I remember seeing that. I'm like, oh my God, Eklund's getting traded for what? And I think maybe the late first, maybe the 2nd would have been involved. But if the 9th is being involved, then it had to have been something even bigger. And the fact that, the Senators are getting Eklund, highly creative playmaker, great pace, great energy. Kasper Halttunen's a very physical, dynamic power forward that adds the element missing with Brady Tkachuk going to the Florida Panthers. And Brandon Svoboda, that's a nice little depth piece to add in there. But overall, this does change the landscape of the draft, because instead of debating about whether it's going to be Stenberg or Reed going 2nd, I think this is a foregone conclusion that maybe Ivar Stenberg is the guy to replace William Eklund. And even before, when I was talking outside in circles, basically saying that the only way that Stenberg could get selected is if they trade away one of their top forwards or forward prospects, and lo and behold, they traded away too. And I think Stenberg is the guy right now who they're going to take at 9 overall. 9th, I definitely think they're going to go for a defenseman. If you take one of the top 2 forwards at number 2, definitely 9th overall is there to be had for a defender. There's Albert Smith, Daxon Rudolph, Malte Gustafsson, who's been talks of possibly entering the top 10 as well. Who knows what could happen? Who knows who they're going to pick? But they're going to get one hell of a defender at number 9. Should they? I mean, at the moment, they'll keep 2 and 9, but should something happen and they move on from one of those 2 picks, we'll see. But right now, that is a great spot to be for the San Jose Sharks, because now you just elevated everything right now. You could use one of those picks to your advantage to make your team even better. But I think Stenberg definitely solidifies himself as a number 2, and number 9 definitely going to be a topic of conversation.
Yeah, that 2nd overall pick, I think it's going to be Stenberg. Unfortunately, I thought maybe that dropped to the Canucks at 3. And I mean, now it doesn't seem like that's going to happen unless they do something and trade both picks. Greer did say that they've had some offers for the 2nd overall pick and they're discussing them. Could we see the 2nd overall pick traded? Maybe that could change things, but we'll see once the draft happens. I think if it does happen, it'll be on draft day. I don't think we're going to see it before then. Dayton, since you cover the Senators, this is pretty big trade. Eklund coming in, talking about they're taking a step back, trading Tkachuk, and now they've got a young guy that's going to be, you would think, part of the core moving forward now, and also getting a really solid prospect in Halttunen.
It's a fantastic trade. Couldn't believe it when I saw it, honestly. I've been a big fan of William Eklund for a number of years. I thought he could have been even a challenger for 1st overall in 2023. I think that was his draft year. Right?
Yeah. 2021.
Even earlier. Okay.
Yeah.
Getting my years mixed up. Anyways, yes, thought he could have been 1st overall at that point. Fell to 7th. They spend the 9th overall to get him. Honestly, if that was the trade, 9th for Eklund, I would have been satisfied. I think that would have been a solid trade. But they got Halttunen and a depth prospect in Brandon Svoboda. it's a huge win for the Senators. I think Eklund has the potential to hit like 70, 80 points next season playing along Stützle. He's got speed. He's got tenacity. He played really well with Zetterlund. So that's a guy who could really break out next year. Like, things are very good in Ottawa, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, and I know, Peter, you've liked Halton for a long time. Every time you mention Sharks prospects, he's one you always mention. So I think he's a guy that's going to end up being really solid future player as well for the Senators. And he's steadily played very well for throughout his development. So I think that's a guy that's going to be really surprising part of that trade as well. All right, well, let's get into the meat of the episode we're going to be doing since that trade kind of changed things a bit. And, of course, the Blues made a trade trading Jordan Kyrou and getting another first-round pick, so that changes the bottom of the draft as well. But, yeah, it's lots of trades. It seems like it was the trade deadline or something. The GMs think it's earlier in the year? Because the trade deadline didn't have action.
I think we should just get a trade deadline day and make this the trade deadline at the beginning of the year, where you have the draft, trades, and free agency, because that seems to be the common denominator at this point.
100%. All right, so we're going to be doing our superlative episode here and going through a bunch of categories and talking about the best players according to different superlatives. So we'll start with the best skater, and Peter, I'll get you on for this one. Who's the best skater in this draft?
Feel like the best skater, and I think it could come down to between one or two guys. It's definitely going to be Chase Reed and or Carson Karels, but I feel like Carson Karels, to me, in my mind, it's not that Chase Reed isn't a bad skater. I just give him a bit of an edge because of the speed, the mobility. I mean, Reed has all those aspects as well, but I feel like there's an extra gear with Karels when he's transporting the puck as well. Even when he doesn't have it, I feel like he's getting into the high gear a little bit more. Great edge work, great four-way mobility as well when he walks the line. Solid north-south game. I feel like he has that aspect to his repertoire that makes him a little bit more lethal, but at the same time, so does Chase Reed. So to me, it's definitely one of those two guys. I feel like Karels has a little bit more pep in his step. I feel like Karels definitely has that a little bit more of an edge of, or roughly even keel advantage in terms of being the best skater.
All right, Dayton. Next up is the best shot. Who's got the best shot in this draft class?
Sticking in the WHL, I think it's JP Hurlburt. Man, can he rip it. He basically made himself a first-round pick by scoring goals and showcasing that shot. He had 42 goals, really, really smart with the puck, really can just pick his spot, got a lot of power behind his shot, looks really good. I think he can really take his game almost entirely based on that. His other skills are solid. His shot is incredible.
I would have to agree with that. I did his prospect profile, and he can sure shoot the puck. That's it's one of his best attributes for sure. I mean, he's got others, but that's probably his best. All right, Peter, best hockey IQ / hockey sense.
Oof. This one's a bit tough because a lot of guys see the ice very well. I feel like in terms of overall hockey sense, I feel like that has to go to Ivar Stenberg. I feel like on both sides of the puck, he's very dynamic. He may not have that, quick speed, but he's always in position. He's very smart. He's very opportunistic, getting into the right areas at the right time, making himself available, opening spaces up. He's very, very smart in that sense. I think Gavin McKenna is right behind him as well, or Gavin McKenna should be in that category as well. But overall, when I look at both sides of the puck, definitely Ivar Stenberg. But offensively, you definitely see that with Gavin McKenna. He has the best offensive vision, but Ivar Stenberg has the best overall, in my opinion.
Yeah, I like to. I mean, he's a very good all-around player. There's a lot of things that he does well. And, yeah, his hockey IQ is definitely up there for sure. All right, Dayton, best hands. There's a lot of candidates for this one as well. Quite a few. But who do you think has the best?
I think it's the other guy who could go first overall, Gavin McKenna.
Yeah.
the way he manipulates the puck is honestly like mind-blowing. He can do things that shouldn't be possible. The way that he just effortlessly can set up plays and move the puck through lines of traffic. His shot is pretty good, but the way that he like is a playmaker and can see the ice so well is why he has been able to just take over games with points, right? What did he have? 8 points in that one game for Penn State?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
There's also the highlight that keeps getting played from the Medicine Hat Tigers where he makes a defender look ridiculous, like he can't even skate. Just a quick little move to get around him. Guy falls on his ankles.
Great catch there.
I swear. Yeah, he's really good. I think easily the best hands.
Yeah, for sure. And this next one, Peter, best playmaker. Does he follow that? Does he grab that one?
Absolutely. I mean, to go inside with that hands, the way that he sees the ice, the way that he dishes it off, the way that he can open up lanes easily, the way that he can even just put the puck in the right spot for his teammates too, whether it's like feathering passes between traffic, quick give and goes. He works it perfectly. We saw that at the World Juniors. We saw that during college. And as you know, Dayton mentioned, his repertoire, like highlight reel from the WHL over the last 2 years, he's absolutely dynamic and creative with his playmaking and offensive abilities. So definitely McKenna is the best playmaker in this draft.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, there's a reason he's probably going to be going first overall. So there's a lot of things that he does well too. All right, this one I love. This is the best compete level / work ethic. Dayton, I know you're also a big fan of that, Peter too. Mm-hmm. So I mean, there's a lot of guys that can fall into this, but who do you feel has the best?
The guy I feel who has the best work ethic is Adam Novotny. In my top 96, I wrote that he is the embodiment of intensity. Every play, every shift, he's going 110%. No matter he's up against, he's got decent size, but he's going up against much bigger guys and never backing down. Always high energy. People say that he's got this Mason McTavish type of style to him. I see more of a Braden Coots, who's one of my favorite incredible workers in the last several drafts, if I'll be honest. Just really, really good. I wish he had a better playoffs, but just because he didn't have a lot of points doesn't mean he wasn't effective. He still was doing a lot of stuff away from the puck, and I think that's why he has earned so many fans, myself included.
Yeah. I mean, these are the guys that you love watching because they're always out there. They never take a shift off, and you always love having those guys on your team as well. So definitely a reason why Novotny is going to be drafted in the first round. And yeah, he falls into that category for sure. All right, I'll come to both of you for this one because it could be different. What do you think, Peter? Most likely to succeed in the NHL this coming season? There could be a few candidates from the top of the draft. Who do you feel will have the best season?
I feel like it's going to come down to one or two guys. I feel like they are the most NHL ready, and I'm going to say Gavin McKenna mainly because he is coming in playing with a top line center in Austin Matthews, and the fact that selection needs to be made, but it kind of feels like McKenna is going to be drafted by Toronto. The fact that he's going to be coming in top 6 power play, dishing it off to possibly Matthews most of the time, and even Darren Radish at the point. Now that they have an actual shooter and right shot, defender from the point that they could rely on that has a bomb of a shot, that's helpful. The way that Nylander sets up on the one-timer, Matthews, when he's in the bumper spot or in his office, whether it's down low, up high, middle of the ice, his strong side, it doesn't matter where. Gavin McKenna is going to find all of these guys on the man advantage, 5-on-5, and he could do a lot of damage as a result of that. So to me, I feel like he's most likely to succeed because he's coming in with a lot of highly skilled players and pro players at that point. That's not to say Stenberg isn't, but I feel like he's with established NHLers at this point.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. I think he's going to have a huge chance of being one of the top, Calder Trophy candidates next season as well. I mean, Stenberg is probably going to be in that category too. Dayton, what about you for most likely to succeed next season?
I think McKenna does have a great track towards succeeding. I really worry about his defensive game, though, and he is on the slider side. I think Stenberg has a very clear path towards being arguably the rookie of the year next year. Mm-hmm. If he goes to San Jose, and it's looking very much like he will right now, he's going to be playing with maybe Macklin Celebrini, a guy who just put up 115 points.
Yeah.
And what did the next highest score have? 60?
Yeah.
Like he was way ahead of everyone else. And putting someone like Stenberg on his line would give him someone to work with that he hasn't really had before. That two-way, highly intelligent, highly skilled player. And he's also coming into the NHL with a very well-rounded game. He's been succeeding better maybe than any other under 18 player in SHL history. Maybe a little bit overstating it there, but it is record-breaking in some regards. The way that he is handling himself against players double his age. Mm-hmm. So I think he's very prepared for the NHL next season.
Yeah, I think Stenberg is going to have a real good chance. Like you say, playing with Celebrini, and Celebrini didn't have that. No, it's nothing against Will Smith. I mean, he's a very good player too. But I think Stenberg is, and there's always, everyone's saying that he's the most NHL ready forward as well. So I think he's going to end up having a lot of success too. I think it's going to be McKenna and Stenberg. It's going to be that right there. Those two guys are going to be fighting for the Calder Trophy next season for sure. All right. I love doing these, the rise and fall. So Peter, who do you think is most likely to rise? Those guys that, we're not expecting, we're expecting maybe deeper in the draft and the first round, but that might really rocket up the rankings here.
I already mentioned the likes of Malte Gustafsson. I feel like that kind of feels like a foregone conclusion where he could be a top 10 pick, but I'm still going to stick with Wyatt Cullen on this one. 13th on the final central scouting rankings. Good placement, but that kind of, when you compare him to the other top 15 of the European side, he could probably be late first, but I feel like there's going to be a team that'll bank on him because of that compete, that speed, that energy, the offensive awareness that he has in the attacking zone. He just does it all offensively, and I feel like there's a team that's going to take a bet on him and take him earlier than expected. I have him within my top 15. It wouldn't surprise me that if he could even push top 10 area, 10 to 12. I feel like that's a really good range for him as well in terms of boosting his draft stock, because he looked really strong at that U18 tournament, leading Team USA in points. I feel like there's definitely going to be some upside and a lot of, debate for teams within that area to be who's going to be the one to take them and take advantage of that.
Yeah, I could see him really rising too. Dayton, what about you for guys that'll rise this draft?
I was going to say Cullen. I will pick someone else. But with Cullen, I will add that there's something very Beckett Seneca about him so far.
Yeah.
I think it said that he grew several inches in 2 years. Like he is shooting up, and that's giving him that small guy, game along with the bigger guy size and strength. Yeah, he could really break some draft pro. Oh my goodness, why did I forget the word? Predictions. There it is.
Yeah.
It's almost the end of the school year. I am so done. So done. Okay, so what do NHL teams love drafting? They love drafting big guys. They love drafting well-rounded guys and guys who succeeded against older competition, right? To me, that screams Ilya Morozov.
Yeah.
So he's 6'3".
Yeah.
He got 20 points in 36 games in the NCAA while being one of the youngest players in the league. He's also a center, very well-rounded. He's a very hard worker, very good defensive mind, arguably one of the best among the forwards in his draft class. He's a pretty good skater as well. Like everything kind of seems like he could go much higher than expected. I have him at 21st overall in my ranking. Wouldn't be surprised if he breaks into that top 16 or higher.
Mm-hmm. Very shades of Vaclav Nestrasil the year before too. Obviously, Nestrasil was in the USHL, but the type of story that he had in terms of being an unknown name, basically, or a later round name, and then basically popping off.
Yeah, I agree. I think Morozov is going to be a guy that we'll see really rise as well. He is. I mean, he did go pretty late in our video one and in the mock that we had the written. I think he could rise for sure. All right, the other side of it, we've seen this happen a lot in the draft, is guys that fall that are maybe not expected to. The biggest one, I'd say, maybe not recently, but Shane Wright was one that he didn't drop too far, but from being first overall, he did drop quite a bit. So that could happen. So Peter, who do you see as the most likely to fall this year?
This one screams fall because of the size, defensive game, or the lack thereof at times. Xavier Villeneuve, although I still feel like teams should have learned their lesson with a lot of the whole thing about, the Lane Hudson falling, Cole Hudson even falling down. I hope he doesn't fall into the second round, because that is just going to be a potential steal for somebody in the second round. But I feel like he has slowly fallen off. I know I believe he dealt with an injury this season or towards the later of the season. He looked still pretty decent in the postseason as well. But I feel like there's going to be a team that's just going to be saying that, he needs to add more muscle. He gets knocked off the puck easily, but the way that he can maneuver certain situations, just like Lane Hudson at times, I'm not saying he is going to be him, but in terms of like the offensive creativity, the maneuvering, the speed, the edge work, the way that he processes the game offensively, it does scream Lane Hudson at times. I feel like teams are still not going to learn their lesson. He's going to fall, and I think it's going to be a good bet for some team, whether it's going to be late in the first or early second. Who knows? But I feel like he's the most likely to fall because of the size factor as well.
Yeah, he was my L1. And again, it's that size, and that, unfortunately, like I say, we've said it every year that happens, or these small guys fall, and then we find out a couple seasons later, why did they fall? They should have been drafted in the first round or whatever. But yeah, there's a lot of examples. We're going to have another one, I think, this year too. Dayton, what about you for most likely to fall?
I'm just pulling up something here. Do you remember where Cole Caulfield was expected to go when he was drafted?
I believe he was expected anywhere between 5 and 10.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's what I'm seeing here. Most rankings, in the top 10. Incredible goal scoring talent. Very, very high upside. He's 5'8" though. Who sounds like that in this year's class? It's Viggo Bjork.
Yeah.
He's going to fall out of the top 16. I can almost put money on that right now. He's 5'9". Teams are going to see that as someone who can't compete against the top teams. They're wrong. He can.
I mean, we all saw the same World Hockey Championships.
Yeah.
Right? But it's this through line that has been consistent in every draft I've watched. Little guys will fall, and Viggo Bjork is going to fall 100% out of the top 10. I'm betting out of the top 16. People are scared to draft little guys, despite the fact that I would put him 5th overall in terms of talent. He's fantastic. He, like you said, at the World Championship, did amazing. He right up there with, Ivar Stenberg, 20 points in under 20 playoff games in Sweden, point per game in the Swedish Hockey League. Like he doesn't have a big weakness other than he's little, and that's going to do it.
Yeah. I think he's the same. I agree. And then the thing is, and I've said it. You look at Logan Stankoven in the playoffs. He was one of the Carolina Hurricanes' best players, and he's really tiny, and he doesn't play that way. And that's the same thing with Bjork. He doesn't play that size, and and think Stankoven's even smaller. So I mean that's just, I don't know. I that's why I say I'm not sure why all these guys. And look at another guy, Zach Benson. Fell, and we were expecting it. He fell, and the Sabres grabbed him, and he was one of their best players in the playoffs too. So I don't know. I think this playoffs in general should change but
not going to.
It won't.
No, Stankoven also, he was 47th overall. He is 5'8".
And I was about to say, a lot still had him as kind of like that late first rounder in between that 20, at least 32 range.
Yeah. And he fell into the second round and almost mid-second round too. So I don't know. We'll keep debating this every year. We're not going to have a year when we won't. So we'll move on. All right. Most underrated prospect. I'll start with you, Dayton, so that maybe you can get a chance to take it from Peter.
There's a lot of good ones. I'm going to go with a guy who I don't think is getting enough attention for at least like a first round pick, in that he's not often selected as a first round pick, Jack Hextall. I find he's a very well-rounded player. He can do everything, a little bit of everything very well. He can skate well. He's got great vision. He's got a strong shot, good two-way game. He's very competitive, but he's also got that physical side. He can throw big hits. He didn't have the biggest offensive game or offensive season in the USHL this year, but he's had big offensive seasons in the past. And so there's a chance that he could rediscover that as he goes further into his development. He is definitely worth a risk as a, range of the 20 to 30 pick, and not a lot of people are putting him there. So I think he could slip under the radar as a underrated or hidden gem for a first round talent.
For sure. Peter, what about you for most underrated?
This is a little tough for me. I kind of feel like Jackson Cover from the London Knights fits into that category because of how quick he adapted to starting to play the game a little later on in his career. He had, a lot of, success as a roller hockey player. So some of those skills were easily translatable, but he didn't hit the ice until later on. His game is raw, but the ceiling is absolutely limitless. I have him as a late first, or not late first, early second, but it wouldn't surprise me if a team, takes a flyer on him at that 30 to 32 range because of what he could bring. I believe he's going to Penn State next year. He had a really good rookie campaign for the London Knights. And even so later on when they weren't supposed to be that competitive, they still managed to push hard, make the playoffs, and he was still one of their notable offensive producers for them. So I feel like there's a lot of untapped potential with him, even though that the game is starting to progress a little bit more with him. So I feel like there's going to be a team that should select him in that first round because he's very, very underrated in terms of like within that late first, early second range, and definitely would be a great selection in that spot.
All right. There's two underrated guys that potentially could be a couple guys we'll talk about in a couple of years saying maybe they should have been drafted a bit higher, but we'll see how that all plays out. But thanks, guys, for coming on, doing our annual Superlative episode, as we're only a few days away from the draft, and we'll start finding out where these guys will actually be playing, or not, I guess, where they're going to be drafted. They may not play for those teams. We've seen it many times. But yeah, all these guys are going to end up being part of discussions as we keep going here. Make sure to check out everything at thehockeywriters.com. We got great content with our draft guide live it's been live for a few months, and it's full of stuff. We got over 150 profiles now, and we also got all the top 10 lists. All that's been live for a while as well. We got the mock drafts. We got final rankings from all of our guys, Dayton, Peter, Andrew, Jordan. I think I missed anyone. We've got a lot of rankings now that have the final ones live. So check all that out. And of course, check out our draft coverage when we do have the draft on Friday and Saturday We'll be doing the full first round and maybe some little things at the start of the second, the guys that don't get drafted in the first round. So check all that out and all of our other coverage. But until our next episode, which will come pretty quickly because we're going to do a few of these videos for the draft, but we'll see you next time.